Am I playing a character? And what are some other characters I've played? All that and more, coming up next. What? No, I'm in here in the studio. Wait, what? Gooseberry pie? What the Oh! Hello. I'm Fenric the Furgotten Wolf, and I'm going to tell you about playing characters. But before we get into that, hello. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Fenric, I am the Furgotten Wolf, and I am a brand new furry and a brand new YouTuber. I have been a furry for about 6 months at this point, and a YouTuber for about 4. So yeah, I mean, some might say I'm just a baby in this fandom, just a baby fur. Oh, no, I am not, choice of words. I am not a baby fur. I am not a baby fur. There's nothing wrong with that, but I am not a baby fur. I am just an old wolf. I am just an old wolf. Okay. Do you want to know what I have to say about playing characters, both furry and otherwise? Well, of course you do. Why else would you be here? So let's just dive right in, shall we? Alright, so first of all, I have been threatening to make this video for some time where I explain, am I playing a character when I'm Fenric, or is it just the real me in a fursuit? And have been telling y'all that it's really mostly just me in a fursuit. There's not a whole lot of character design that kind of went into Fenric's persona. That being said, that's not exactly true. So it is quite a bit more nuanced than that. I would say Fenric the Furgotten Wolf is like 85% just me, and maybe the other 15% kind of a character that I am playing, in some ways almost involuntarily so. So you have the physical aspects of Fenric, and that's where, for example, if I am wearing paws like this, I have to be way more exaggerated, with them. So that's one thing, just by the act of getting in the fursuit, you start to move a little bit differently. I mean, other fursuiters can chime in and tell me if you find the same thing. But you can't move around in most fursuits the same way you would if you're not in the fursuit. So already there's a physical change. Second, there is my voice. My actor's instincts kind of help me to understand that I need to project to get the voice out of this head. Yeah, so as the microphone is picking up my voice, what it's actually picking up, because I don't have a mic inside the head here. This is just being recorded like in the room. And so what the mic is picking up is really the reverberations of my voice from inside the fursuit head and is, coming out the front here. In addition to that, there is some pretty heavy audio processing I put on it after the fact as well that changes the sound of my voice slightly. So it's highly likely that if you ran into me at a convention somewhere and I try to do the Fenric voice for you, it probably wouldn't sound exactly like it does on the video. So, yeah, there's the physical thing that happens when you get into the suit, just by the way of how I'm recording this and the fact that I have the head on. My voice sounds different as well. All right, so those are like little physical differences. Certainly, depending on which feet I'm wearing with the suit, I will also have a completely different walk, because you just can't really walk normally in some of these fursuit feet. But then there's kind of like the personality of Fenric, and he's mostly me, except that I am nowhere near this outgoing in real life. But if I could be, I would be this, I suppose. So, but Fenric is also maybe a little bit more naive than I am. It is mostly just for comedic effect. But, you know, I might play dumb or something in a video, and yeah, I'm not really that dumb. I mean, I probably am, actually, but probably not about whatever I'm pretending to be naive about. So, yeah, he's a little bit more naive than I am, and I kind of hope that he is more outgoing and way less inhibited than I actually am. But I suppose we'll see when this old wolf actually gets to the convention and is around other furries. So that is basically it. Fenric is just very much me, with just those few little differences. So I guess, am I acting and playing a character when I'm in the fursuit? Well, I mean, yeah, a little bit. You kind of have to. There's really no getting away from that once you put this thing on. But I'm not like, I never really thought of Fenric as like, you know, like an OC, like a character that I created that was so much different than myself. He really is mostly just me in the fursuit. So, yeah, there you go. The secrets of the character of Fenric the Furgotten Wolf. Okay. So, what else could I possibly have to talk about in this video? Well, my furry friends, I have also threatened to regale you with some stories of my time as an actor, and so I am going to tell you about 2 roles that I played back when I was an actor. They were both about 35 years ago, so this was quite a long time ago, my furry friends. But one of them is the role that broke me physically, and the other is the role that broke me mentally. Yeah, I can hear it now. Some of you are out there going, oh, that's what happened. All right, the acting roles. So the interesting thing about both of these roles is that they're from 2 different shows, 2 completely different types of shows, and yet both of these characters are actually based on real people. So the first one is I played John Merrick in The Elephant Man. I think the guy's name in real life is Joseph Merrick, but in the play it's John Merrick. You may be familiar with the famous David Lynch movie. You know, I am not an animal! Oh, well, actually, yeah. What were we talking about? Oh yes, The Elephant Man. When I played Merrick. So, if you have seen the David Lynch film, then you probably have an image in your head of what the Elephant Man looks like. Or maybe you have seen a documentary or photos of the real Joseph Merrick and know how deformed this guy was. Now, in the play, The Elephant Man, the actor playing Merrick traditionally does not do it with any makeup or prosthetics. He is simply himself, and just kind of does it by contorting his body. I'm not going to do it. I can't even remember what I did 35 years ago, okay? But I do remember that there was a specific way I contorted my body every night, sometimes twice a day. I never had back problems before I did that show. I have had some kind of frickin' back problems, like, pretty much ever since. So, like, I don't know, if you're an actor, like, don't play Merrick, man. It is not gonna be good for you. Now, you might be wondering, well, why is there, like, no makeup or prosthetics or anything? And I think, I mean, yes, it is an artistic choice. It really gives an actor sort of, an interesting acting challenge, and sort of the freedom to figure out, exactly how to convey some of this to an audience. But then, I would say there's also a deeper reason that's like, that's one of the themes of the show. It's kind of the whole point of the show, is that our exterior doesn't always show what our interior is. And I think as furries, that might be quite relatable to some of us. So yeah, Elephant Man. That show broke my damn back. That's what I have to say about that. All right, moving on. Now, this one is a lot harder to talk about, because this is the role that broke me mentally. So, I was in this play about the Holocaust, and it was about Jewish children living in the Warsaw Ghetto during the Holocaust. The play takes place in sort of this orphanage. So in this play, I played a teenager living at this orphanage. But my character was kind of like a bad dude. So I had this scene where I had to like literally assault this child and steal his food. And then my character gets kicked out of the orphanage. I was involved with this production from like close to the very beginning. And I remember being at one of the initial read-throughs where there was actually just a few of us that had been cast at that point. And the kid that I was going to be working with, the one that would be in that scene that I would have to, essentially beat up and take his food. It was a kid that, it was a young actor that I had worked with before and knew, and we both got along really well. I was really glad that it was him. It was somebody I knew, and that we already had that sort of like trust that you get when you work with actors, multiple times. You just kind of learn to kind of play off each other, right? So I was okay with that. But he was a great little actor. But the thing about this kid was that like he was not particularly skinny. And they absolutely needed all of the children to be incredibly skinny and look like they were wasting away. Which I pretty much looked like at the time. I was not the age that my character was supposed to be. I was a little bit older by then. I was an adult. They kicked him out. And got this other kid. This like tiny, tiny little waif of a kid. this new kid really didn't like me very much. I mean, looking back now, I don't know really that it was that he didn't like me. I think he was just trying to be super, super professional. Because, I mean, whenever, like, he wasn't involved in a scene or something, he would be off to the side just, like, studying the script, studying his lines, working through things. He'd never be, like, just messing around with the other kids. So I think probably just trying to be really professional, and kudos to him, but we just, we weren't friendly. We never hit it off at all, really. And I at the time, it felt like he really just, like, didn't like me. And I was just like, yeah, okay, it's a show. You just, whatever. But, and look, the whole thing was obviously choreographed. We had a fight choreographer that worked with us. That he did there basically in the scene. I pushed the kid and he goes like flying across the stage. Now he did all of the work on that, but I still had to do, it still had to look real enough. Yeah, I don't know, that was really hard to do. And I mean over and over again I have to do that, especially with this kid that, like, I felt like really didn't like me. And you see, to make matters worse with this whole situation, my character in real life was the one that survived. It's very weird playing someone in a show that actually existed. And in this case, I mean, the end of the play is all the kids going off to the camp. And yet, my character is the one that survived in real life because he was kicked out of the orphanage. I have never, ever come to terms with any of this, and it's been 35 years. I'm a strange old wolf, I know. Sometimes people would come up to me after the show and be like, hey, oh, you were so good. I hated you so much. Oh, thanks. It's really the only time that I have ever played a villain. Yeah, I really have not talked about this in like 35 years. And, yeah, that role broke me. The only thing I can say is that I finally saw that kid smile at, like, the cast party. Like, once the whole thing was done and, we were all just hanging out. And he still wasn't that friendly to me, but at least I saw a smile on his face. Drinking a lot of soda. Yeah, I remember that. So I don't know. That experience has stayed in my head so much that it's made me even sort of feel like I want to be a little bit careful of what I do and how I come across as Fenric. Even if I were to say, oh no, he's totally a character, right? I mean, I know we've discussed he's just me, but even if he was totally a character, it's easy to get wrapped up in things in your head when you are very, very committed to giving a performance. And I think we all, to some extent, are giving a performance when we get into these things. Even if you are like me, where I'm just saying, yeah, it's sort of just me in a fursuit, there's still some performance aspect to it. Sometimes it helps to just kind of keep things in perspective. All right, well, that's all I really have for this week. I know this was kind of a different kind of a video. I hope you guys found some of it interesting, at least. But until next time, stay wolfy, my furry friends.